So shout out Riva TV. I'm not spending a long time talking about this topic because I could have a long time ago, but I'm not that interested. But however, there is a teaching point in this about this lady, Dr. Bryant. So apparently this is her crew. And if you know about this story, you know. I don't know how, if you're on YouTube, and I don't know, she's basically, you probably know her from the Cam Newton podcast. You probably know her from The Breakfast Club. You probably know her from Corey Holcomb's 5150 show. There's been a lot of controversy around this little thing in the middle, trying to give women advice on what to do with men and how to be a wife and this and that. But she is very, very far from it. But let's hear a little bit. First, let's hear her defend herself, and then there's just the one thing I wanted to comment on.
Y'all, I have often been accused of being a queer, a lesbian, and having a fine woman hiding in the closet. I'm also a strong Christian, and I know my...
First of all, if you really weren't gay, because nobody has referred to, ooh, she has a fine girlfriend. No, that's her opinion. So therefore, that shows you she does have something, because why would you refer to what you don't have as fine? Like, no, nigga. I've heard a lot of the commentary about her, and none of it has been like, oh, she has a fine girl and blah, blah, blah. But that's really not even that important. That's just, subliminal shit you got to notice in between, reading between the lines of people sometimes when they talk.
Bible well, okay? But as a heterosexual woman, straight woman, how can I answer that question, y'all, and be strong in my opinion without being accused of being homophobic? I mean,
now this,
and I will say, if you don't know anything about this Cheyenne Bryant lady, I will say, if you're interested, go look up a little bit. Just go look up a little bit as far as what has been said, just because I'm not covering all that on here. This was just a quick video. But go look up the information so you understand, if you don't already know. You understand who she is and why people have an issue with her and why people have an issue with what she's saying. And how I feel about it, it's not necessarily the message, but certain messages can't come from certain people. That's just how I feel. It's not necessarily what she was saying that I got an issue with. It's the fact that she cannot be the one talking that talk. It's just, that's like an F student wanting to talk about how physics works. And it's like, I'm sorry, you spent your whole high school, college education and you got all Fs. Yeah, you picked up this one book and you could tell me 3 sentences from it that make sense. Okay, cool. But you are an F student. You still are not the one in the position to try to lecture me about physics. That's kind of my opinion. That's my deal with her. It's not necessarily what she was saying to Cam Newton. Do I agree with a lot of what she was saying? Yes. Do I agree with everything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But even the things that I did agree with her on, it still can't come from her. And if you watch her interview as well on other shows, other podcasts, she just is not it. I see her and I see another black woman that the devil has thrown to black women to distract them. It has given them another goofy bitch to follow, the same way they gave them Candace Owens. This is another goofy black woman that the devil has thrown to the black community for black women to all be on and all support. And of course, as soon as they start loving her, it's like, this is her. These are her connections. These manly looking, like the devil right now just wants black people in the queer circle. You just want them over there with the gays and the homos and all that shit. And it's like, here's another black woman that they have thrown at black women to follow and to just take every word like it is bond. And then you see who this woman associates with and who she surrounds herself with and who she hangs. And it's like, these are her people. And there's a reason for that. So they want black women on this queer movement. They really do. So when I hear her speaking like she's the one to give black women advice on marriage and on men, she is not it. I'm sorry.
Comment that she made, I felt in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, y'all, I felt in my personal opinion was very disingenuous. And the reason why I say that is because...
And like I've already shared, I'm not here to go over the whole video. You guys go check this out, Riva TV. She does make a lot of good content. I enjoy her videos a lot. Let's see. There's the one response that I wanted to highlight as far as just black women's reasoning. There we go.
If she's into women or if she's not into women, Dr. Cheyenne.
And I'm sorry that this is so skippy.
Dress like a boy, but regardless. And it was derogatory. It was derogatory, and that's what you wasn't gonna do. Period. You wasn't gonna do none of that to nobody. Now
you don't know what I would have done.
You stood up and
same
showed it. You can't do anything.
Now again, people
Titties all out. Like these are the kind of women they'll feed to black women. And it's like, how are you with your whole titty out? You supposed to be giving women advice on how to be like solid women, but anyways, and it's not even about that.
Trying to say that this is just information to discredit her.
Now
you don't know.
Now again, people were, trying to say that this is just information to discredit her. Like, what would it matter if the things that she's saying about Nick Cannon and Cam Newton were true? Why would it matter if she's into women or if she's not into women? Dr. Sean.
And this is the point that even made me want to make a video in the first place. And like I said, I'm sorry, it's kind of forward, but this wasn't going to be a long video. But this was the main reason why. It's because it's the mentality that I wanted to highlight in black women and how just detrimental and unintelligent this type of thinking is. Like,
Cheyenne Bryant is a lesbian? Allegedly, Dr. Bryant is a lesbian, and it was her girlfriend who got her on the podcast with Cam Newton, right? I just want to know, why does this matter? Man, woman, whoever she sleep with at night, why does that matter?
And I think that
and that's what I wanted to address, black women, is that it does matter. You cannot have I wanted to say a dyke or I wanted to say you cannot have a homosexual, you cannot have a queer woman giving you advice on how to be married to a man. You cannot have a lesbian woman talking to you on what it takes to make a heterosexual relationship work. So black women are under such a delusion. Fuck. God, Jesus Christ. It is just mind-boggling sometimes when I hear black women speak. Like how far away you've gone from common sense. How far away we've gone from intelligence. How far away we've gone from our intelligence. That's really what it is. A lot of black women are very intelligent, but they're very worldly intelligent. There's no more, like, the blackness is really gone from them. That's why I look at the woman talking. It's just, the blackness is really leaving black women. And you hear them speak and these are not black women. These are fucking Beckys with tans. Like, just dumb. Fuck. You cannot learn how to you don't go to somebody in the queer community and ask for advice on how to make your heterosexual relationship work. It's like success principles. You want to be successful and you have to ask somebody for advice. You go to somebody who has the results, and that's who you ask advice from. If you are having marital issues or you're having relationship issues in your heterosexual relationship, you do not go to a queer for this. You go to someone who, if you are having marital issues, excuse me, you go to someone who's been married for 10 plus years, 20 years, 30 years, even 5 years, whatever. You want to figure out how to make your marriage work, you seek advice from somebody who is living that. You want to make a business work, you go to somebody who has a successful business. You want to learn how to raise your children right, you go to somebody who is raising their children right. You're not just going to go ask any parent what to do with their children, and lo and behold, you see their children are a bunch of fuck-ups. Is that who you're going to go to advice for on what to do with your kids? No, it's the kids you see that are well-behaved, well-disciplined, they get good grades, they're doing well in life. Those are the parents you go to advice from, like, hey man, so I'm also raising kids, and give me whatever kind of tips you can. I'm just starting my business and I want to grow it into a multi-million-dollar business. I'm not going to go to somebody who's an employee to, hey, how can I get my business to grow? I'm going to go to somebody who already has a successful business. If I want to make my marriage work, I'm not going to go to somebody who's single and in the clubs. I'm not going to go to a lesbian. I'm going to go to somebody who's been married for 20 plus years. Hey, what does it take? What does it look like? What is needed to make it work? So for a black woman to sit here and say, if she's a lesbian, what's the matter with that? It doesn't matter. That matters a lot. That matters a lot. You cannot, a lesbian, and a bitter one at that, if you've heard her speak, this woman is hostile. Fuck. This woman is bitter and angry. This is a hurting woman, but she want to give you all the advice about not hurting. Why don't you take the hurt out your spirit before you try to give somebody else advice? You don't go to a lesbian and ask them what it's going to take for your marriage with a man to work when they don't even believe in men. What? This is what they believe in. They believe in make-believe. To her, Cheyenne Bryant is the one in the middle. This lady on the left, this is a man to her. This is a man to her. And you women will go to her for advice on how to make a man work, on how to make a relationship work with a man. She's giving you advice on what to do with with this thing. You don't go to somebody who's not successful in something and ask them how to be successful in it. This is like just fucking 101. And the fact that black women hear that and think like, what's the big deal? So what? Whether she's a lesbian or whether she's with a man, what does her message mean? It doesn't mean anything. You can still listen. Like, what? It means a lot, baby girl. Are you going to go to somebody who works at McDonald's and ask them how to grow your fucking empire? Literally. Are you going to go to somebody who has a simple ass basic job and ask them, hey man, what's it going to take to grow multiple businesses? Like literally. This is common sense. So to think that there's not anything wrong and there's no consequences to seeking advice from a lesbian about a heterosexual relationship is delusional. That's delusional. I'm gonna go to a Satanist and ask, how can I improve my relationship with God? I'm going to ask an atheist, hey, explain how creation was made? I'm gonna ask a fat motherfucker that's 500 pounds, hey, what's the healthiest thing that I should buy and I should eat on the regular? Like, you see how this makes no sense? I'm not going to go to an unhealthy person and ask them an advice on how to be healthy. You don't go to a lesbian and ask for advice on how to make a heterosexual relationship work. So that it is a big deal. If, allegedly, if she is a lesbian, that's a big ass deal. So for black women to be so lost in their reasoning of, it doesn't matter. It's like, man, come on, man. We got to be smarter. And that's all I want to say on this video. Go check it out. Riva TV talking about Cheyenne Bryant and her loves and her manly love. Oh man, and you could tell oh my God. I gotta watch my YouTube channel, man. You can tell she is pretty. I cannot stand when you be seeing these butch ass women that think they're men and they be pretty. Like, man, what a waste. What a waste of a potentially pretty woman. What? Instead, they out here trying to be a man with this fuck ass delusion, and it be black women supporting this shit. Man, not everybody's culture is our culture, black people. Please, not everybody's culture is our culture. Black Americans, you want to say you have a culture. If you have a culture, then please stand on it. Because you cannot claim to have a culture, but you just go along with whatever any culture throws at you. White people threw this rainbow movement your way, and y'all eat it up more than they eat it up. Unbelievable, man. I'm done. Peace.